Ничего нету. Проверяй, ничего не идет. Я его слышу, но ничего не идет. Good morning. I'm happy to greet you. And I'm ready to hear you, and I'm ready to see you. And on behalf of ITU, I'm greeting you, and together with the Odessa National Academy of Telecommunications, you are welcome, and I'm really happy to greet you. And today we are holding a special event. It's a training, a workshop, a forum that is dedicated to child online protection and collaborating together with the ITU and ONAT. We are participating in this unique mode where we involve not only educators, scientists, and also children, adolescents, teenagers, and officials from their authorities, Odessa authorities, educational offices of our city. And today, pupils from the fifth form, the fifth grade, will participate in the forum, and the agenda is going to cover all the questions that were listed on our site, and we will inform you what kind of new documents have been issuing, and you will find out some more information in their framework of lectures, trainings, practical tests. You will have a possibility to answer the questions of the survey questionnaires. After that, there will be questions and answer session. If you wish, if you'd like, you can ask any question. As I can see, we have slight minor problems in terms of some participants. They have little bit difficulties to connect. Anyway, everybody will have the opportunity, the possibility to join, to connect our forum later, or later all the materials will be online on their YouTube channel, and you will be able to watch and listen everything if you would like. Even if you would like to ask a question, just think over a question, and after every slot, after every session, the procedure is pretty simple. You have to press the sign that shows a palm, a hand, and if you press it, you will have the possibility to ask your question. Here you have several tools that you can use. However, you have to register in the system. There is a window, so-called a chat window, a chat box. You can also write your questions there. If you want to register, you can go to the right corner, bottom right corner, there press the button, and there please insert your name. One more issue: for those who would like to share the impressions, the opinions, to participate in the discussion, and would like to provide the examples, tomorrow we will continue our forum. As for the rules of safe behavior, children online. As for child online protection, also you will be able to spread the information that you participate in such kind of forum, such kind of event. So we are going to begin, and I would like to introduce our first trainer, Mr. Roman Tsarev. He is the teacher from our academy. So take the floor, please, Mr. Tsarev. And I will maintain all the technical issues. Good afternoon, all the participants. I would like to present a lecture about the rules how to behave safely online. So the lecture is dedicated to the rules of safe behavior of children in online environment. It is not a secret that children are a third of the total number of internet users. The internet is pretty complicated thing where we can find lots of useful things and not very useful and even harmful. The Convention of the Rights of the Child defines all the children have the right to a safe stay online. The second very important rule is that every child has the right to access information from the internet, television, radio, newspapers, books, and other sources, and nobody can ban your access to the internet. However, there are lots of harmful things online. Actually, you can find a lot of interesting things on the internet. You can play games, you can learn new skills, you can gain new experiences and knowledge. You can communicate with friends, especially with those who you cannot communicate face to face because you live in different corners of the world or of the city, of the country. However, unfortunately, the internet is also can be used by the people who may even seek to harm you. They can harm you in terms of psychology and other harms. They can do pretty many types of harm because it is a virtual environment there are real dangers, and you have to understand clearly that there are threats. However, there are tools how to protect yourself. Let's look at the most common threats. So, when using the internet, you need to know some basic rules that will allow you to protect yourself and other people. Dangers in the online environment, they are divided into some types. In the context of threats to life and health, the internet should be perceived as a source of threats to the real world, which with the help of modern technology can take new forms. They are cyberbullying, cyber mobbing, cyber grooming, flaming. So, cyberbullying is a psychological perceiving that can be that you can face in the form of different texts, messages from the people you don't know with some kind of threats and unpleasant information. And there are more different attacks and psychological pressure that are called as cyber mobbing. The next one is cyber grooming. Usually it is done by the grown-ups who pursue their children, their teenagers, and they have their content of their sexual features. And all these three threats, they have different kinds of harm. For example, you could be insulted somewhere on the social network without any reason. Somebody just starts saying insulting things to your address. Sometimes they are neutral, sometimes they are too insulting, and even can make you they can do you pretty much harm, especially in the terms of psychology. For example, when you go to your page on a social network and you start communicating, you start doing something there, and suddenly and all the time, continuously, there is a message with threats, insults, and even it can be in your mailbox. Even later it can appear on your phone with all kind of threats, and this is called cyber stalking. When people, especially children, are provoked to send their kids photos, especially with sexual content, even naked, half naked, and this is really unpleasant threat. It is danger, and it is really harmful in terms of psychology. Cyber harassment, another threat. It's derivative from English when someone behaves in the unpleasant or threatening way towards you, towards children. Also, it is really unpleasant, and there are later you can have even psychological trauma. Another one is outing and trickery. An outing could be defined when somebody publicly says something that this person who is talked about does not want anyone to know, and this information is going to be used against you. So the question is how to protect yourself from all these dangers. The answer number one is to follow basic rules. They are and they exist, they do exist, and they will help you to protect yourself from all these threats, viruses. However, could be other threats apart from the psychological ones, could be financial, and of course they can spread viruses into your system, so your computer, your gadget also under the threat. So rule number one, protect yourself from viruses, use antivirus programs in order to protect your gadget. Number two is do not upload your personal photos. Be more private. Do not tell about yourself on the internet, especially. Do not share your home address, your phone number, and parental information. Do not put it onto the internet. Do not tell your passwords. Basic rule number three. Because on behalf of your person, of your name, everything actually could be sent on the network. You should be aware that on the internet there is only an illusion of privacy. And if you don't know a person who you're communicating to, you never know exactly what kind of person is or at the other end of the net, of the channel. So be aware that in real life you at least see a real person, but online you usually don't have this possibility. So we only have the illusion of privacy. That is why lots of users, they just give not true information, they just give untrue information onto the net. The best way to find out is to check what is true, what is false. But it takes time and some effort. Anyway, if you suspect any harm, you should stop communicating and you should stop placing the information on the internet that those people will have the access to. So keep in mind that your online friend may be a completely different person than you imagine him or her. Do not trust everything that is written on the internet. Always check the accuracy on the information. Another piece of advice is post only those photos, videos, or other piece of information that are not ashamed to show to all internet users. Another rule is do not sit on the internet for more than 30 minutes. Take a break often. Another rule could be in communication on the internet, express your thoughts freely, discuss comment, but at the same time respect other interlocutors, other co-speakers. Watch your language, be polite, do not use slang. Not everyone can understand you correctly. And most important, to say no if you are asked or forced to do something you don't like. Do not be afraid to say no if you don't like something. This way, we have revised the basic rules of their behavior that will allow you to protect yourself online. All the detail as for the information and as for their documents, legislative base, you can get from their sources. You can see on the slide, on the screen. Just click on the link. You can download the material to read and to know all the detail. So, the lecture is over. If you have questions, you're welcome to ask. So everybody has the opportunity to ask questions. Just use the tools on your screen. Dear children, use this opportunity to ask questions if you are interested in any extra information or any further clarification. We have the group on Viber, and also you can ask questions using this source. Once again, here you can see the questionnaire, a kind of survey, and if you find the button on your screen, you can go and open this survey and all the materials will be on YouTube. And actually we are doing the streaming, we are sending everything online right now, and you see that it is simple. There is a question, then you have the options to answer. Just read the question and choose the option. You see all the terminology mentioned in the lecture. You can see here like cyberbullying, cyber grooming, cyber mobbing, bossing, cyber stalking, harassment. And one of the last questions is about the duration of working, and here you have some options. The last question is, can you tell on the internet about your personal data? Can you give this information online? Then there is the button submit. Just press it and we will proceed your answers. Here we can see already there are 6 people who participated and answered the questions and submitted. Thank you very much. Now we can look at this information right now, just in the real model, in the real time mode. So we are reading the survey, the answers. So here you can see the graph, and we have some response on the survey, and still we are waiting for more replies. I'm trying to help you to maximize, to magnify it, in order everybody has better vision of their of what is going on. We are waiting for more responses. Later, we will have a practical task. We are waiting for actually for 12 responses, because we need exactly this number. And please, will you wait for the next step? There will be some workshop. We will have some practical tasks to solve. If somebody has problems, please just drop a hint. We have the chat box, and we hope we will be able to provide any help. We will assist you with any problem you have during this lecture. Let's have a look what kind of answers we have. There are 14 answers. Could you please be quicker in order we are able to start our next step? Press the button. We are finishing the survey. However, you see that there is no name. You shouldn't provide your name on the questionnaire. It's impersonal, so we even don't know who exactly answer how. Again, we have a couple of minutes. We are waiting. Later, we will wrap up. We will make a conclusion. If I'm not mistaken, there are about 10 responses we are looking forward to get. Here we have already 16 done, and it is enough. Let's move ahead. Let's start our practice. Then later we will go back, we will come back to the survey. and make more conclusions. I can see some questions. They are related with some technical problems. Later we will consider every particular case, what's wrong with the testing and what was wrong with the survey, and we would improve it. Let's move ahead. So, practical tasks. Mr. Царев, Roman Юрьевич, будь ласка. You're welcome. Hello again. Now we are going to have the possibility to practice our skills that we have gained in the lecture. Here I would like to share the presentation where we would like to consider together some situations that you can come across while working, playing, communicating online. And we would like to see if you are able to choose the correct answer, how it is recommended to behave in this or that case. Here we have the slide where you are suggested some questions and some answers. And you will choose whatever you think is correct. As I have already mentioned, every child has particular rights, and it is in the convention as for child protection. We would like you to say what is the difference between right and a want. So, your own bedroom, is it your right or is it your want? We would like you to define what is your right and what is your want. We will suggest you some questions. Just wait for a second. On Viber, you are able to see the questions, and it's up to you to decide what is a want and what is a right. So either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, a want or a right. So what is the difference between a right or a want? Right, whether they are the options rights or wants. So we have number 1, your own bedroom, number 2, fast food, then protection from discrimination, opportunity to spend at your own to spend money at your own discretion, then traveling for pleasure, we have education, play, opportunity to text, to send messages from your mobile, on your mobile, then freedom to practice your own culture, language and beliefs, to profess your own faith, an opportunity to have decent housing, a decent shelter. So, one of the biggest right is to have a decent shelter. However, almost all the respondents, they answered differently, and it seems to me the explanation needs clarification. Okay, we have the questionnaire on Viber, and we would like you to say, what is it? A right or a want? We are waiting for the participants who will press the button and just answer. What do you think? Is the option a right or a want? Could you please find all the suggested questions on your phone, on your Viber? We are waiting for your responses, and later we will analyze all of them and conclude. Here we have a new slide, and you can see here the survey, some information. What kind of information you can share? So information exchange is very important issue online. It's related to your privacy, and it is important not to put your personal data online. Do not place any password, any personal data in online environment. Here we have some questions from Daria. So you know that you should be very careful what you place online, especially if you do not know this participant online, and you should be suspect if this participant is really active, asking lots of questions, asking all the time, please send me this information, that information. So you should ask your relatives, or maybe you will choose do nothing, or another option, maybe you don't like this answer or that answer, you have your own answer. So just vote and choose which option is correct. Once again, we are answering on Viber, and we are waiting for your answers. We are uploading the system all the time, and there are 4 responses already. Once again, switch over to the community, to our group in Viber. And we are not going to give you any prompts here. We would like your own answers. Next step will be the quiz mode, and you need to answer these questions to get to another level, to join our next step. So most of you really correct, and fortunately you understand that you must not send any information if you don't know a interlocutor at the other end of the network. Do not send anything, not photos, not any information, because this person later could use it against you and could do you harm. So the correct answer is D. Do not send anything, do not do anything. One person answered that he or she would like to ask a piece of advice from their adults, from their parents, and later make a decision. However, it's partly correct. Better not to send anything, nothing to a stranger. And let's move ahead. As we have already mentioned, all that you have on the internet could not be true. And do not trust everything that you see, read, and watch on the internet. You have to be critical. You have to check the information that is essential for you. And if the source or resource is really famous, it's rather true. So the more famous the company, the more possibilities that this site, this source of information is reliable and the information is true. So anyway, you cannot trust 100% to any source of information. Even if everybody from your surroundings use this source, anyway, you should be more critical. Remember that real people, just people like you and me, they upload the information on these sites. People create this information, and people could be mistaken. However, the more reputation the author has, the better source it is in terms of trustworthy and reliability. So we are getting more and more responses, and meanwhile I will remind you that not all the information online is true, and it is not all the trustworthy information on the sites that you attend. Another questionnaire is about the trustworthy on the internet in terms of what is true or what is false on the sites that you visit. We have already got some responses, 6 or 7, it seems to me. Here we are able to see the questionnaires, and I can see that 22 questionnaires are filled in, and actually it could be finished even in the evening with your parents when they are freer after their jobs, after their work.
Найбільш повна і правильна відповідь це дійсно вільна відповідь онлайн. Тому інкоді вам надіслали, що на 100% довіряти інформації для
So
перевірки
we have 19 responses, and the question was really complicated. However, you done well, and actually there is no correct answer here because we cannot trust 100% any site, any source of information should be checked, because even the sites of our government can be broken by the hackers, by the criminals who can get into the source of information and put whatever they want. So we cannot trust any site, any source of information 100% because of the threats and possibilities of other people to intrude into their source. So, but the most important thing is to be aware of the threats that some information could be true, some information could be false, trustworthy or not. The next slide is related to our lecture. It's related to the rules, what should be followed while working online, what should be done, what shouldn't be done, what you mustn't do under any circumstances. And here you can see what you can and what you cannot do in this or that case while working, playing, communicating online. Here there are more questions and we would like you to answer them. They are mostly about your behavior, about what you can do or what you shouldn't do while working, playing online, studying, communicating. Here, write a text message to, for example, we have questions like ways they should behave, things they should never do, and then another question is from the test. For example, what you must not do while communicating online. And I think that rule number 1, you should be as polite as possible. Once again, be very careful and read the questions attentively. And the question is what you shouldn't do. The example of question could be, let's find out if you understand the difference between you should do and you must not do. So let's move ahead. I think that most of our participants answered correctly. So you shouldn't use slang and idioms because not everybody understands them. So write as politely as possible. Try to communicate online politely using neutral lexes, neutral words, neutral forms of the language. The next slide is about warnings. There are lots of different kinds of people, activities, or experiences that you can encounter on the internet. You might think some of these things are less safe or more safe than others. And how do you rate some of these activities? Again, there are some questions we would like you to answer, and we would like you to arrange these statements on the to rank them on the next page in order of increasing danger. And you can see that the green is completely safe while the red one is really dangerous. You shouldn't do it at all. And if there is something missing from this list, write it on, please. If you think we have another question, for example, if somebody doesn't know how to act, so you can ask who she or he can ask help from. And again, you have the question on your questionnaire. For example, there are 5 options, and among of them, of course, there is an option all options are correct, and there is no correct answer, and we are waiting for your responses. We can comment on them later and take your time, however, do it quickly. So actually it is a complicated problem, and we understand that you need a little bit more time in order to read the task. However, we have already 20 responses, and once again the issue is complicated, that's hard to answer, and it is difficult to choose. Actually, all the options are correct here. You can ask help from grown-ups, from your parents. You can make a schedule. And here we suggest you the sequence of the actions, how to avoid the addiction and how to recover over this addiction if somebody has it already. So I would like to say that we are finishing our practical part of our training, and thank you for your attention, and I think it was useful in terms of child online protection, and if you have questions you're welcome to ask. Thank you very much, Mr. Roman. I would like to put some responses on the screen. Here you can see 22 responses. So, question number 1, let's comment on. So, the correct answer is netiquette. If we speak about their behavior online, it is netiquette. Etiquette is different and security policy is different. Security policy, for example, this is the set of the rules that the company is used in order to be safe online. Here we have insults, pressure on a person, which is carried out via email. I see that more than half of our responses are correct. It's cyberbullying. And next one, number 3, is distribution of, and more than 50% answered the question correctly. Yes, we think that it should be considered. If we speak about number 3, it's sexting. If we speak anyway, more than 50% responses are correct, and if we speak about the information that we can give or not give, everybody is correct. 100% correct answers. No, you shouldn't give any information to unknown strangers online. And I would like to ask you now, you might have any question, or you might would like to comment, to share your opinion, what you like or what you don't like, and especially you're welcome to say what would you like to listen to in such kind of practical lessons. You can switch on your microphone, your camera. Thank you very much. I found out a lot of useful information. Thank you very much for your feedback. Are there any more participants who would like to join our discussion and sharing opinions? Not yet. Here, Damir, please. Mr. Rajevich. I have found out a lot of new threats that are online. Thank you very much, Damir. Indeed, we tried to make kind of review about the threats on the internet. And I also would like to emphasize that we are going to have trainings for your parents in order you are able to discuss and share the things in the family. We would like you to talk about this with your parents and children, your siblings. If there are not any questions are coming, I would like to finish our part 1, our training, and I would like to say big thank you to ITU and the partners who helped us to organize this training, and I would like to say thank you to all the colleagues. and their officials and their institutions, to schools, of course, to the educators of schools and authorities who helped us to organize and implement this idea of ours into the practice. And thank you very much for your active help, assist, and participation in terms of child online protection. I would like you to switch on the cameras now. We would like to take a photo because we are pleased that we have done the event that is really important. Just a couple of seconds, please. If you have the possibility, please switch on the camera for the photo. A big thank you to everybody. I'm really pleased that we did it and we so, and I congratulate you with the successful final of our training, and I hope that we will meet again. This is a kind of experiment, a pilot project, and we only started, and from this we will begin the series of the events for other schools and other classes. Thank you, goodbye. And now we are going to communicate with your parents. Thank you, goodbye. Thank you, goodbye. Many thanks from the kids. Good afternoon, esteemed parents. We are happy to welcome you to continue our series of workshops that are dedicated to online protection, child online protection. And we are going to issue the guidelines on child online protection. My name is Vadim Anatolievich, and am I work at Odessa National Academy of Telecommunications, named after Popov. And on behalf of the Academy of ONAT, I'm happy to welcome you to join our forum. It seems to me we are conducting an interesting experiment today, and the first part has already finished, and we have worked with the children of the 5th grade, the 5th form, and once again I would like to say thank you to their school authority, to all the people who helped us to organize this forum. This way we would like to share our materials that we have developed for the purpose of child online protection, and later we will improve it, and maybe it will be taught at schools all over the city and further, and we are going to send you some materials that could be useful in terms of using the internet by children and in terms of their protection and safe use of the internet. We think that these materials will be useful either for parents, teachers, and children themselves. And here, today, I would like you to suggest a plan. Later you will have the link where the questionnaire, the survey will be, and we will start with the lecture, then we will continue with the practical task, then we would like you to join our surveys. At the end of the slot, you will have the possibility to answer the questions or just share your opinion. We have all the tools on the screen. We have a chat. You know that it is possible to write any question, any recommendation or suggestion you would like to share with us. And of course, could you please write down your name, your surname, your second name, in order we understand who you are, because it's important to be registered. We need this in order we are able to recognize you today and later join you to their further work. So we can start. If you have a question now, maybe technical question. If not, I would like to introduce our lecturer, Professor Vasiliu. Here he is, Evgen Viktorovich, and we can switch over from one mode to another. you see the button. You can switch over from camera to camera. First of all, we would like to start with the lecture. Good afternoon. I am going to switch on the presentation, child protection online, child online protection, and here our lecture, it is dedicated to the child online protection and some recommendations for parents and teachers. Because the internet is now fully integrated into the lives of children and young people, the digital and physical worlds cannot be considered in isolation. Online technologies provide children and young people with numerous opportunities to communicate, acquire new skills, be creative, and participate in creating a better society. However, they can also bring with them new risks, such as privacy issues, exposing them to such dangers as illegal content, harassment, cyberbullying, misuse of personal data, grooming, cyber grooming, and even sexual abuse of children. Protecting children is a shared responsibility, and all relevant stakeholders must ensure a sustainable future for all. Here you can see the classification of risks to which children are exposed in the online environment. Some of them are so called aggressive ones. Sexual features, that some of them have sexual features. Then we have commercial, valuable, and content features. The risks with different kind of features and different nature. So the child as a consumer of mass production, then we can see there could be the content that has some risks in terms of danger for a child. There are some technical problems. Some participants just cannot see the slides. They can hear us well, however, they do not have access to the visual aids. So just a second. Just so the sound is really good. However, we okay, there is a possibility to open the slides on YouTube. So we will continue because most of the participants are able to see their slides. We will try to reload, to restart the presentation. Please be patient.
Не, вот если камеру включить, то попробуй эту камеру потом подключить. Если эту камеру включить, то и зрение тогда не станет. Надо. Сейчас, нет. Давай посмотрим, да?
Okay, the slides now are on the system. If you are not able to see them right on your screen, we sent you the link and you can just download now the slides on your computer. It takes a minute, it will take some time, but we will continue anyway. So we are talking about the classification of risks because they are different. For example, there are those ones that have valuable features, commercial. It could be the child as a consumer, violence or scenes of violence, could be racist, hateful content, advertising. So we will continue with the propensity to risk and harm. Online, children and young people are exposed to new risks that can lead to harm. They may accidentally discover information about how to harm themselves or lay hands on themselves. They may also face aggressive and it can lead to committing suicide. They may also face aggressive statements or materials of a violent or sexual nature, of sexual content. It is important to remember that risk does not always lead to harm. Children and youth who are exposed to online risks will not be affected if they have their necessary knowledge and skills to cope with their experience gained. We are going to speak here about cyberbullying that is more and more spread today among the youth. Uh, it is therefore important to identify which of the risks are most vulnerable to harm online and how their risks lead to harm in order to reliably protect children and young people online while avoiding unjustified limitations. The role of parents and guardians, we can say that parents need to support their children and young people so that they can enjoy the benefits of technology safely. They need to take a balanced approach and take into account the variety of opportunities that the internet offers. Parents often focus on many online educational resources and skills opportunities, but they should also be aware that the internet also provides children with a number of opportunities for social development. For example, games or personal hobbies may be the main motivation for using the internet. When parents understand this, they can build more effective interactions with their children and better support them. The internet actually has huge potential in terms of searching interesting materials. However, we would like that everybody is aware of responsibilities and risks that are online as well. Here are the guidelines for parents and guardians. Parents and guardians should accurately assess the nature of different sites, the content of different sites, their children's understanding of the dangers, and the likelihood that parents can help reduce the risks before deciding which conditions are best for their child. So the internet has really great potential in terms of providing children and young people with opportunities to find interesting materials. The main task is to teach them positive and responsible forms of online behavior. The following table provides the key considerations for each question that parents and guardians should take note of. Here we have some key considerations to be taken into account by parents and guardians. So, when we speak about parents and guardians, here the key considerations: description, security, and reliability, your technology. Number one is to talk to your children, try to organize one with them, try to organize online activities together with them. Ask them what they do online, ask them about it. It is important that children and young people do not feel that their parents do not trust them. Setting up filters, tracking, and restricting access are important. But this should be accompanied by dialogue and discussion. When children and young people spend time away from home with other people, they have access to other devices. So trust is important. Will they tell you if something happens? When children and young people tell you about an accident on the internet, it is important to react with restraint. The most important thing is that they told you about it, and an adequate reaction on your part will strengthen them in the opinion that you can help them, which means that they will turn to you again if this happens in the future. Parents should be interested in what their children are doing online and be willing to share their online experiences in order to build trust and open dialogue. Next important issue is to identify what technologies, equipment, and services are used in your family, at your home. Start with devices. Determine which devices in your home have an internet connection, including cell phones, laptops, tablets, as well as smart TVs, game consoles, and fitness trackers. Everything your family members enjoy. Find out what online services and applications your family members use with all these devices. Here you can see key considerations to be taken into account by parents and guardians. Here again, key consideration: description, security and reliability of your technology, installing a firewall and antivirus software on all devices. Here you should think about whether filtering, blocking, or tracking programs will be useful and suitable for your family. Further, we have learning some basic rules in terms of child online protection and teaching these basic rules. Here we speak about key considerations: description, educating parents and guardians. First of all, they should be aware of what online and mobile services your children use. And children should be aware of what they use and what they give online, what they share with their co-speakers. And parents, of course, should be aware of how your children spend time online. It is possible to investigate how to ensure the maximum level of security for children and young people, and also young people, when using applications and platforms, including through the privacy settings of accounts, taking into account age restrictions, etc. Here we are talking about the role of teachers. Why should be password created? Why shouldn't it be passed to another person? We should explain to them that there are dangers related to giving personal passwords to anybody. Your personal password should be reliable and you must not give it to anybody. And here you're welcome to ask questions and share your problems, your opinions.
Если уже сейчас стандартная ответственность, что я вижу, там никто никому не ответить не может. Просто, додатково навчання учнів цим технологіям та безпеки в інтернеті дуже важливо для
So let's continue.
далі.
We are talking about the correlation role of the teachers, because it's very important that educators do not consider it normal that children and youth know something or do not know something about the internet safety. For example, educators have an important role to play in explaining to children and young people why passwords are needed and how to keep them safe. Here we can say that a lot of suggestions all have already exist. They have been already published in terms of how educators can help children and young people using technology wisely and safely, in particular by ensuring that the social adopts a set of strict rules and procedures and regularly evaluates and reviews their effectiveness, promoting the development of digital skills and digital literacy through their inclusion of digital citizenship disciplines in curriculum. Next moment could be emphasized as ensuring general awareness of the rules of permissible use and the need to comply with them, ensuring in school policy against harassment, provisions relating to harassment on the internet and through mobile phones and other devices, as well as the establishment of effective sanctions for violations. Appointment of an online security or coordinator is vital, ensuring the security and reliability of the school network is an essential part of their guidance. Use of the services of an official internet provider. Use a software products for filtering, monitoring, organizing online safety training for all children and young people, ensuring a sufficient level of training for all employees, including technical staff, as well as regular training, appointing a special coordinator at the school who deals with all the issues mentioned above. Here I would like to speak briefly about the key considerations that teachers should take note of. Make sure that all devices are secure and have a password. Install antivirus software and a firewall. There should be a special policy that regulate how their online technology is used. And of course, it is understanding that teachers should follow the rules first of all while they teach the policy. Photos. We have to outline the rules, what purposes the photo was taken. If it is just a group photo of a class, it's really a good thing, an innocent thing. However, there should be rules, written rules, where this photo can be used. Here we would like to speak about filtering and monitoring. Of course, that schools should not have any access to any harmful sources of information, because there could be lots of threats like piracy, like other kind of harassment, insults. There could be a threat of many cyber attacks, bullyings, and other kinds of psychological attacks at children. And here I would like to mention about the so-called digital trace, digital footprint that exist on the net, and this our children should be aware that there is so-called digital footprint, digital trail that is left on the net for a long time. We are going to finish our lecture, but first of all, before the the end, I would like to pay your attention to the link that can be useful for you, where you can find the information on child online protection, international documents, and all the materials we have mentioned today, but in more detail. Thank you very much for your attention. Esteemed colleagues, I have just sent to our group in Viber the link to a new form. There are tests, and there are 5 questions in test number 1, and there are links where you can find all the materials in the system where we are now. I am switching on the test, and I'm trying to share it on the screen in order everybody will be able. So the first question, what is an effective software to provide safety while using different gadgets? Then the policy that is used at schools in terms of ICT usage. It includes, for example, the ban of using personal mobile gadgets by teachers and pupils, some examples of the correct behavior. Question number 3, the level of potential threat is defined by 1. The level of motivation of the criminal and other levels. The next question, what kind of features, what kind of content could be in the risks and threats that children are faced? And the last question, who our children should come up first of all if they have been harmed, if the incident has happened, who they should ask first of all about help. You see, there is nothing difficult, and you always can do the test later if you are not able to do it now. Right now we have had one response, and when you finish, will you press the button finish, please? As we don't have much time, could you please work quickly? Later we will find time to analyze the responses. You see, we do not have any personal information of yours if you do the test. We don't know who has done which one. We cannot identify personally who answers and how answers this or that question in the test.
Ще дамо трішки часу для того, щоб розв'язати цей випробувати. І після цього ми перейдемо до
If you have
теми.
answered and you would like to answer something, you can use this sign, so called a palm, a hand, and of course you can connect with us via Viber. After that, we will move to our next step.
Так, шановні батьки, я бачу 5 відповідей вже, тож не боріться. Будь ласка, покваптесь трішечки. Хочемо перейти далі. 6. Добре. Ну, я ще раз насамперед хочу подякувати
Esteemed colleagues, I can see 5 answers, 5 responses, and I would like to ask you to hurry up a little bit. We need more responses, please. And I would like to use the opportunity to say thank you. Thank you for the lecture conducted by Mr. Vasiliu. And later we will check which answers were correct or not. And now I would like to take the floor to my colleague, Mr. Roman Tsarev. He will conduct a practical lesson, a workshop on child online protection, and there will be a survey. And please, could you answer the questions using your mobile phones via Viber, please? Good afternoon, dear parents, and now we will have a possibility to go through the practical tasks in order to work out the skills we have been gaining. We have had presentation, and here again a short one more short one presentation. And let's imagine that there is the situation that your child is spending some time on the internet, and this is for parents actually sometimes a real problem, because it is difficult to control the time of a child being on the internet. Of course, children, they copy our behavior, and if you as a parent sets up the example and spend a lot of time on the internet, if you are with your gadget all the time, remember your child will copy your behavior, and it's a real problem. And actually There is no 100% effective tool to solve this problem. However, there are some recommendations, some pieces of advice that we can provide you with and help. Hopefully, it will help you to solve this problem partly. First of all, to create their so called family contract using the internet. In your family, in between, you should discuss these rules. You should speak about the rights and responsibilities, and you can write everything in this contract, whatever you want. For example, some detail, and even you can write kind of encouragements, kind of awards if the rules are followed by this or that side. So this contract will allow to limit, first of all, time of spending, of using the internet. And here we have the first practical situation. Imagine that you have to sign this family contract. First of all, do you think who is this contract targeted? Is parents, adults, children, or everybody? So this survey is online, is somewhere on your Viber. As we see, there are 6 people who has voted. I hope that everybody has access to Viber, and we are sure that more and more people are answering these questions, and we hope to get your answers. Esteemed parents, hurry up, please, could you? Because we would like to move ahead and start another. So there are 9 responses. So everybody answered correctly. This contract is for everybody in a family, and it should be signed by parents and by children, and of course children and adults should follow the rules as well, actually, as any side that signed the contract. I'm going to send you a link on Viber. If you are interested, there is an example of such kind of contract, and if you like it, you can download it and fill in and sign. It's a ready-made contract for a family. When we would like to protect our children online, we should be aware what kind of threats are there. What are we going to protect them from, against? Some adults think that their children shouldn't give must not have any access on the to the internet, and because there are too many threats, there are too much danger on the internet. However, there are lots of cases when your child is not under any threat, working, playing online. We should understand what kind of dangers and what should we protect our children from, and what is a part of our everyday life, and a child should be exposed to some modern technologies and modern ways of discussing topics, searching the materials. And of course, it is difficult sometimes to discuss such kind of questions in the family. Some parents and children, they do not talk on these topics. Now, again, we are sending a new questionnaire onto your Viber, and we have the questions there. So you can see the question one, and there are 5 options to choose. Take your time and answer as you think is correct. I would like to remind once again that this questionnaire is on your Viber. I can see that there are 11 responses. If we speak about the lecture test, so there are 7 responses in this case. And here, if we speak about this question, I can say that there are not there is not only one correct answer. However, I would like to say that when you shouldn't share this information. For example, when you think that your child can get any information on so-called banned topic, actually better to discuss any banned topic with your child yourself, because otherwise it could be later your child can be exposed to this information by somebody else. And your child, if you had talked to your child before, your child would be aware of this topic, and it would be easier for your child to conduct with their topic, with the challenge later, when the children are talking on this or that topic with somebody else. So better not to have so-called banned topics, better to give this information in the correct form. So banned topics is not a problem. The problem is to give the information on this topic in the correct way. The next case is so you found out that your child goes to an unwanted resource, the resource that you think is not good for your child, how would you react if you found out that your child goes to an unreliable source on the internet? So, what will be your actions? How would you act? You will punish your child, you will block the resources, you will ban using the internet, and the last one, everything is wrong. So, the question is, which action is wrong? We are waiting for your responses. I cannot see any yet. I can see that we have different groups in terms of answering this question. We have different replies. Let's wait more. We have 11 response very active, who are very active. So we have 6 responses. It's less than a half. So please continue submitting your responses. Now we have 12. That's it. We will look at them and analyze. So we have the answers, and we see that opinions are different. So 5 parents think that it is not correct to punish a child for that he or she goes to unwilling, unwanted site. And 5 parents think that all the actions are correct. So as the opinions are different, I can say now that the correct answer is all the answers are wrong. It is actually difficult to block the source if you do not use special technical aids. You have to go to a particular company that is responsible for the internet provided in your house. If you ban using of the internet, this is also not very good and correct way out. First of all, you have to tell your child why this source is bad and have a talk about the harm about the risks and dangers that this source can bring if it will be used in the future. Now we are going to have a look at 2 cases when this or that event happens, and what kind of advice you will give in order to protect a child from possible threats, negative actions. So I'm sending you a new survey. Imagine that there is a situation. A student from a high school gets to a phishing site where they buy a book, for example. Phishing site is a kind of copy of the original site. They are used in order to steal your data, while copy the official site where you can send your credit card data, your and other personal data. First of all, you can block the card, then you have more options to choose. Could you please be very attentive, because there are some tricky questions, so consider all of them carefully. So there are 6 responses already we have. Could you please answer the questions?
Так, ну у нас є одна відповідь, що нічого страшного цікавого так не сталося, але все що відбуватися. Дивіться, якщо бачите ви здійснили покупку на
So there are 6 responses. I would like to ask you once again. Now we have 10, so we can comment now.
кошти з вашого рахунку. Тому більшість відкриває вірно, потрібно
We have some responses that they look like jokes. At least one is really funny.
це питання, в принципі, книжний варіант, але це під рукою буде
However, the issue is pretty serious. Imagine that your data related to your credit card somewhere on the criminal side. And of course, you should do something to block the card. However, it takes time. Anyway, the action to block the card is the fastest that you can implement. But if this is your child's card, of course, first of all, he or she should call parents, then parents call to the bank and explain the situation. The next case is similar to the previous one. The situation is similar to the previous one. We will try to evaluate the situation. What is happening is if we communicate online and a child is insulted by somebody's messages, somebody's addressed at a child. Imagine while communicating something on the internet, a high school student gets such kind of insulting messages. Variant number one, to reply. Variant number two, to ask the adults who will help. Do not pay attention at this cyberbullying. One more variant, to inform the administration of the forum. So please choose the correct answer. You can see questions and options on the screen of your gadgets. So we have two responses, and we have some more responses from other participants. Esteemed parents, could you please answer a little bit quicker, because don't much time is left, and we would like to see the results of our testing. Now we have 14 responses. I can comment on 3 responses, and one of them is to ask about help from adults, and some people answered that to inform the officials, and this is the correct answer. The rest responses are wrong, because, for example, if you ask help from just an adult, of course you inform an adult, but this adult might not be able to do anything with in this situation. So the most correct action is to inform the administration of the forum in order they take some measures how to block or exclude this participant from a forum. So we have considered all the possible examples that we had planned for this practical task, and we hope you improved your skills in terms of child online protection. And if you have questions, you're welcome to ask, and we are happy to answer them. So you're welcome. Please, right now you can ask any question. If you don't have questions, we would like to thank you to everybody, and we would like to analyze now the answers, the responses, in order to share the conclusions with all the participants. So the results are coming on your screens. Can you see the results? I'm asking the participants. So let's just overview some materials. Let's overview the results. We have 12 answers. The first question is answered as yes. 12. We can say that we have different answers and we have some correct answers. In order to protect your gadget and the children, you should first of all install the firewalls and other equipment and software that protect your computer. For example, VPN and some antivirus software as well. If we speak about filtering, it's also could be installed in your home. However, it cannot be necessary uh, for home internet. But if we speak about schools, it must be installed. But at home, it's up to you to decide what should you use. Unfortunately, we cannot use it on our screens. I will just read out loud what I see in terms of your responses. Question number 2 is about policy of internet usage. Here we have the sequence of reactions, the action plan, and if I analyze the responses, I can see that there are different answers. People think differently, but the correct answer is number 1, the action plan, and number 3, where we speak about the policy. If we speak about the personal gadgets, it is impossible to ban using personal gadgets. However, there should be policy, there should be clear rules when, under what circumstances, how long the personal gadget, can be used at school, on the premises of the institution. Here we have also some prohibition to take a photo of pupils. We speak now about the levels of the threats. It depends on some factors, some levels. And I see that 58% of responses are correct, but I think that number 1 2 and 3 are correct, because lots of factors can influence in this case. However, when we speak about the global network, we should speak about the competencies of of people who use it. Here we can see that here we can get another survey, and we are going to analyze it as well.
Ну, в першу чергу, тобто питання було перше чергу. Звертаються більше причини
Here we can see all the risks that exist on the internet. And again, we have different responses, but first of all, I would like to pay your attention at the keywords. First of all, of course, some children ask about help, ask their parents about help, but some children go to their teachers and also ask about help. Here again, I would like remind that there will be all the links where you can find all the materials. It will be on your Viber, and it will be later on the channel. First of all, I would like to say thank you to everybody that you have find some time and participate in such kind of workshop, because the issue is really relevant nowadays. Because our children spend more and more time working, playing, studying on the internet, and we have to influence on the process. If we care about our children, we have to be aware of everything that happening online where our children are. And first of all, we would like to speak about trustful relationships, because this is one of the way outs from the problems that our children can come across online. If you don't have these trustful relationships, it can interfere your children to have free access to the internet and free possibilities and all these advantages that internet has. Now, if you have questions, or if you would like to share your opinions as for the issues mentioned and discussed, so you can use Viber or you can use chat box. Thank you very much for interesting and useful information. Thank you. I hope it is useful indeed. And I would like to ask you to switch on the cameras in order we are able to take a photo. If you have this possibility, please switch on the cameras for the photo, just for 1 minute, please. So we have some, not a lot, however, enough. Thank you very much. Thanks again to parents and schools and official representatives from our educational institutions for your help, for your willingness, and could you please say once again thank you to your children from us, big thank you for participation. After this workshop, we will prepare the certificates of participants of attendance and we will send them to you for your active participation. Thank you. Goodbye.